Welcome back, everybody. I just got done watching the movie
Shazam!
I know it's a little cheesy, but I had to throw it in there. This movie's directed by David Sandberg. He's known for doing horror movies, and I gotta say, we live in a time where directors are really surprising me. I mean, at first it started with Jordan Peele, going from comedy sketches to doing Get Out, and then to Us, and now we got David Sandberg, who did, I believe it was like Annabelle the Creation and Lights Out, and now he's going to a comedic toned superhero movie, and I gotta say, they should keep doing this because it works. Now, I'm not a critic, so I'm not going to sit here and talk your ear off about who's in the movie and all this other stuff, but the director thing I thought was a nice little nod to throw in there because it is kind of impressive. Obviously, Zachary Levi is Shazam. He's from Chuck, which I'm currently watching because I wanted to learn more about this actor and what he's capable of, and I love him in Chuck, and God, Ryan Reynolds to Deadpool is what Zachary Levi is to Shazam. He was definitely born to play this role because there's just something about Zachary Levi where he has this man-boy-like persona about him where he kind of always acts like a child in a really, really sweet way, and he's just so perfect in this movie. I'm going to start off with the things I didn't like because this movie, I'm going to say this right now, it's amazing, but it's not perfect. The CGI does not look the best. Clearly, DC, going into making this movie, they were a little hesitant because they didn't know if this character was going to make money or if anyone would even care. It's not like it's Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman, you know. This is somebody that's very well unknown, so they kind of gave it a low budget. So the CGI, when they're flying around and stuff, it kind of looks like really, really, really good video game graphics bleeding into real life. And in a video game, it's great, but when it's bleeding into real life, not so much. Fortunately, the CGI flying scenes and shit like that are very few and far between, so it doesn't detract you from the movie as a whole. But when it is there, it is a little much. That's really my biggest complaint. The only other complaint I have with the movie isn't really at the movie's fault. It's the learning curve of Shazam. One of the big things I hated about Thor was that he is a god. Like, I get the first one, like, he didn't know all of his powers because he was still learning, but by the second one and Avengers 2 and everything, he should have known how to use his thunder in more ways than just shooting it at the sky, or like occasionally maybe hitting the ground with like a little bolt of thunder. It wasn't until Thor Ragnarok that Taika Waititi really reimagined him and let him unleash his full electricity abilities, and that's the same problem with Shazam. However, in Thor, it wasn't for a lack of knowing it, it wasn't for a lack of Thor's character knowing how to do it, but the creativity level of the directors filming it and not realizing what his full potential was. In this movie, the whole movie is a learning curve. He's learning how to use his powers, and he still doesn't know what he's fully capable of. So when there are scenes at the end where that big showdown is happening, where he's finally like beating up people, there are moments where I'm like, dude, electrocute that guy. Like, you have these incredible powers, and you're just trying to fly into them and hit them really hard. It's just, so it was a little frustrating to see him not using his full potential. But again, it's not the movie's fault. It is the fact that he is learning how to use all these powers. I just wish DC gave it more of a budget. I mean, like I said, I know they were probably hesitant because they didn't know it was going to make money, but it would have made it that much better, which would have got it to a near almost perfect score. Hopefully now, if they make a sequel, which I don't see why they wouldn't because it was fantastic, but people still need to show up to the theaters to see it, so we'll see. Everything else about the movie I loved. I love Dr. Savannah, the villain. They actually gave him a backstory that made you kind of feel for his character. His parents really treated him like shit, and you kind of understand why this guy's doing what he's doing. I mean, I wouldn't say I would murder people because of it, but a lot of villains don't get the amount of backstory that he did, and I appreciate that it was in there, and it made him more of a believable villain and not just hell-bent on taking over the world. Like, he had a purpose. Like I said, Zachary Levi is fantastic in this role. Asher Angel, who plays Billy Batson as the younger version, he's good too. I mean, he doesn't really have to do much in terms of acting. Like, there's not really a lot of weight that's carried on his shoulders, except for one specific scene that comes kind of towards the end of the movie that really gives him the character arc he needs. I'm not going to spoil it, but that one scene he did fine in. Really, besides Zachary Levi, the standout here is Freddy, the kid that plays his friend. He is so fucking funny in this movie. It's unbelievable. I was gut laughing multiple times, and they were all by lines delivered by him. The perfect thing about this movie is that these characters react in ways that we would actually react if we had these superpowers, and Freddy says things that someone like me would say, if my friend had superpowers and I just saw him do something, it's just like really good destructive criticism, but it's really funny. And it feels so real. Like, it feels like this would actually happen if it happened in the real world. Like, the way that they're treating this responsibility that he has. It was a really nice new introduction into a hero in a world where we're oversaturated with superheroes. Because, I mean, I really didn't like Captain Marvel. I didn't think it was anything special. It didn't make me feel like I was watching Captain America again for the first time, or something that made me like have that like little boy like reading a comic book or a Saturday morning cartoon feeling. And this did. It gave it a boost of energy that this genre desperately needs, because unless we're talking about undoing a snap that erased the entire world, it's hard to get excited about these little solo movies anymore. But this did it. This did it for me, man. I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of heart in this movie. I mean, a lot of heart. The whole foster family aspect of this movie, the family itself, they're all really sweet, and they definitely provide a huge driving force into why Billy steps up at the end of the movie. I won't go into details, but everything was just so well written. You cared about all these characters, even the ones that didn't have that much screen time. You cared about what happened to all of these people. You were interested in the villain, and this dude is evil, man. Like, this is supposed to be a kid's movie, but there are some scenes that are like really violent, and I don't know how they got away with putting that in this movie, but I'm glad they did, because it really gave you a grand scope of what this villain is capable of and what Shazam is up against, and I thought that they handled the final showdown really well. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Shazam. Not only am I going to watch this movie again this upcoming Tuesday with a different group of people than I saw with tonight, but I'm definitely going to buy this movie on Blu-ray, and I am definitely going to rewatch it a whole bunch of times and overanalyze it and try and pick it apart for everything that it's worth. So yeah, on a review scale of go to the movies, wait to watch it on your couch, or don't watch it at all, I'm going to say definitely go to the movies. Go to the movies twice, because there's definitely going to be things you missed. There's an end credit scene that something happened, and I don't know if I was looking at my phone or whatever, like when it happened during the movie, but something happens in the end credit scene, and I'm like, why does that have significance? And everyone like kind of gasped. And then when I went and like read up on it after the movie, I realized that there was actually a small scene in the movie where you see this specific character, and all I'm saying is pay attention, alright? Don't look at your phones throughout the movie. I made a mistake. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you liked what you see here, please subscribe, help me out. Maybe let's talk about it down in the comments down below. And as always, I'll catch you next time.